What's going out there in the boxing world? What's going on? I'm your host, Coach Squeeze of the Rize Podcast. And I'm standing in for my constituents, Coach Calvin Ford, they in camp, Javante Tanks Davis camp, and Coach Kenny Ellis, aka the Swan. Yeah, how y'all doing out there? And before I get the show kicked off, we gotta give our sponsors the love, redesigning minds, one mind at a time, GTD Promotions, Under Armour, and Box Raw. How my viewers doing out there today? God bless y'all, man. We on another episode of Rize Podcast, and it's a special day, man. I just want to give a shout out and say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers all over the world who give the tireless effort to hold the glue together in the family. We can't do it without you mothers out there, because without y'all, we wouldn't be here. Y'all bring us into this world. And, I like to send a shout out to my mom. She's resting in peace. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I miss you. You made me who I am today. They say women can't raise a man. That's not true. Not true at all. I'm living proof that a woman can step up and raise a man. So, saying that, I want to just send that love out to everybody, all the mothers out there that give that tireless effort to keep their families together. I love y'all. And the ones that ain't here, happy Mother's Day to you. All right, y'all, we about to roll into this show, man. It's been a lot going on, man. Of course, Javante Tank Davis fight's coming up the 26th, June the 26th. Tune in. It's going to be fireworks. And we have a lot going on at the Up and Boxing Center in Baltimore, Maryland. Remember, bring your kids down. Don't be shy. Bring them by. That's my slogan. Don't be shy. Bring them down to 1901 Pennsylvania Avenue. We got a Pee-wee class, 5 years old to 8, and 8-year-old to 17. And we do have adult classes. It's free for the kids from 5 years old. I repeat, it's free for the kids from 5 to 17. From 18 on up, it's $120 for the whole year, 5 days a week. So there you have it. And don't forget to subscribe to the Rize Podcast show. Smash that subscribe and like button, because we will be bringing you all the live and raw content, not only from our fighters, from all the fighters out here. Now, let me roll right into some of the things that went on this weekend. Of course, I don't care what they say out there, man. Pound for pound, this dude got to be in the top 3. If you didn't see the fight last night, man, the dude put on a show. He put on he threw every punch in his arsenal. Canelo Alvarez versus Bj Saunders. As I said before on a couple of episodes earlier, that to me, Canelo is one of the best fighters in the game today. He's a big draw, and he brings the people in, man. He brings them in. And the fight I seen last night just took, to me personally, took him to another level. Of course, people going to argue that he fought Bj Saunders, which they might think is not a formative opponent. Now, I seen Bj Saunders. I watched several of his fights, not all of them, but several of his fights. He's an excellent boxer. He's a boxer. He's a southpaw. And we know southpaws give a lot of orthodox fighters a lot of problems. But as you would know, Canelo made the adjustments. From what I seen out of my eyes, from the beginning of the fight, Bj Saunders was on a defensive. He wasn't as offensive as I usually see him. He normally comes out, work off his jab, use his feet. With Canelo pressed the issue early, took him out of his comfort zone. Billy Joe picked up a little rhythm round the, I would say, 5th to 6th round. He showed little glimpses of his skill. But as you know, the great fighter that Canelo is, he kept the pressure, he made the adjustments, and he stopped him in the 9th round. Billy Joe didn't come out of the corner. So it was a TKO in the 9th round. He couldn't get up off his stool because Canelo pounded on him like a steak that you put on a grill. Some people cook that steak dry, but last night, that steak was tender. The juices was flowing off of it. Canelo tenderized him. Any part of him would have been juice. He did him. So, saying that, now, as the Swami would say, we want to see Canelo. We got a couple of dudes we want to see you fight. I'm going to address this to Canelo camp and his fan base. Now it's the time that we see Canelo fight these dudes, man. You got Demetrius Andre, man. I want to see this. You know, we got the Charlo brother. I want to see this. We even got Jared Hurd, which he need to come back and string together a couple of victories. So, man, people out there want to see these fights, man. The super welterweight division is one of the lavish divisions into boxing. So, saying that, Canelo camp, I love his coach, man. He does a great job. But now, brother, we want to see you step up and fight these big names in the division. Canelo, we don't want to wait too long so he get up in age and not being able to give us the best performance. We want to see these performances while he in his prime. So I watched the Charlo brother. I think it's I get them confused, but I think it was Jamel that shout out to you, brother. You and your brother, lines only, 2 heavy hitters in their division. I'm proud of y'all young brothers. On our channel, we try to lift each other up. We not for tearing each other down, because life too short and precious. So, if you can't lift somebody up, then don't touch them at all. So we not on our channel to bash anybody, but we gotta voice our opinion because it's the sport of boxing. It's nothing personal. So hats out to my boys, the Charlo brothers, lines only, which they say he ain't been calling Canelo out. That's not true. I will be releasing that content to y'all on our next show. He have been calling him out. And it's we know it's all about the Benjamins. If the check ain't right, Biggie, they ain't not. So we already know that the money got to be right and for these guys to fight. All right, y'all. I'm gonna drop down to 147. Okay, we got Earl Spence coming up. He's fighting Dennis Ugas. Now, a lot of people might say that that's not a formidable opponent for Earl Spence. But Earl Spence came back and he fought Danny Garcia. And he looked like he ain't skip a beat. This man was in a horrific car accident that he possibly could have lost his life in. And everybody was questioning, could he be the same when he came back? And he proved not only that he was the same, he actually, to me, looked a little more better because he put the whole entire camp and worked hard and got the proper spawn that he needed to do. And I'm a big Danny Garcia fan. You know, Danny Garcia is a great guy, man. In the ring, class act. Out of the ring, class act. You never heard this dude getting in no type of trouble outside the ring. So I'm going to send a shout out to Danny Garcia camp. One thing about boxing, man, I like so many of those guys, man, but somebody got to get their hand raised and somebody got to lose, but it doesn't stop me from giving them their love and their props that they deserve. But Earl Spence and Dennis Ugas is going to be a hell of a fight. You know, styles make fights. And Dennis Ugas is a good style for Earl Spence because he likes to come forward, he likes to bang a little bit, and he likes to trade blows. Now, I'm going to talk about my boy, Bud Crawford. And they say that when you start talking pound for pound, you got to name Bud Crawford, man. And he's a switch hitter. Now, the people out there are asking on all the channels, man. I see it all the time. YouTube, man. They want to see Terrence Crawford fight Boots Ennis out of Philadelphia. He's undefeated. Both of those young fighters. Terrence Crawford is entering into his prime at 32 years old, if I'm not to be corrected. And we would like to see that fight materialize in the next 1 or 2 fights. That would be a barn burner. Both of those guys should eat very well from that fight because you got 2 switch hitters. Terrence Crawford starts out in orthodox, but he can switch to southpaw. Boots Ennis comes out at southpaw. He can switch to orthodox. So we would like to see these 2 guys in the ring, man. Promoters, make it happen. Make it happen. Y'all talking about, y'all want to write the checks. The checks are there to be written. You know, so let's make that fight happen, man. Sean Porter, I'm ready to see my brother back into the ring. Of course, we know what Sean Porter brings to the ring, man. Excitement, fireworks, never a dull moment, round and round. So I want to see my boy Sean Porter back in the ring. And everybody making buzz out there about Keith, one-time Thurman. You know, I know he was sit down with some injuries and little off out of the ring problems in his life. We all have them. But brother, I'm going to send you some love. We miss you, man. I ain't threw you to the side. A lot of people threw you to the side after the Manny Pacquiao loss, but not me, because you could fall down and get back up and go on another fighting streak to put together. So, but I would like to see him get a couple of tune-up fights and then take some big fights, you know, slide in some bigger fights and then get the bigger names in the division. People also looking forward to Jared Hurd stepping back into the ring and getting his luster back into the ring and throwing his hat back into the race. All right, y'all. Now, I just want y'all to know, man, at the gym, Upton Boxing Center, man, it's been going well. Like I say, bring your kids down to 1901 Pennsylvania Avenue, man. We doing our thing big. Go to the Rize Podcast channel. Me and the cameraman, I'm going to give my shout out and my props to James and Landon. I appreciate you, brothers. They the guys behind the scene. You got to meet one of my good brothers last week. He did the show with me, and he's been uploading a lot of content to the Rize Podcast channel. Don't forget to like and to subscribe. I cannot stress that enough. Our numbers been growing, and let me go into some of the fighters at the gym. You know, we got this little kid named Bryce, man. He's 6 years old. I call him the mini Mike Tyson. And I'm going to be uploading some of his sparring content. So if you got any fighters out there 6 years old at his weight class, which he's weighing probably like around 40-something pounds, bring them on down to 1901 Pennsylvania Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland. You know, this is what we training these kids for. We want to get them some rec so they could expand their horizons. And then one of my other little peewee fighters, Junior Cobbs, you know, heavy puncher, southpaw. He's 5 years old. He got at least 5 to 6 stoppages. This kid is a monster. He doesn't back down from nobody, and he's continuing to grow. So bring the fighters down there so my kids can get some good work. And we have another prominent up and coming 5 to 6 years old. I think he's 7. CJ, another one. He's orthodox. He's long, and he lets his hands go, and he got a dynamite right hand. And I like to give a shout out to all the coaches at the Upton Boxing Gym and all the volunteers. And there's one volunteer, he say he get on me and jack me up every time he see me at the gym. But I'm definitely going to give him a big shout out to my nephew, Josh. He does the Pee-wee class, and he does an excellent job. And I can see his growth, his passion for the kids, you know, and he don't have no kids himself personally, but he say all of these kids are his babies. So Josh, I'm giving you this shout out. I appreciate you, young man, and keep supporting us at the Upton Boxing Gym. We couldn't do it without you. It'll be tough, but keep coming down and showing us some love, man. And I like to thank Senior, Junior's dad, for always giving his input on the fighters. He is starting to get more involved into the fighters, not just only his son. He's starting to coach other kids. And always a shout out to our gym director, Miss Nikki. You know, since she been at the Upton Boxing Center program, man, she's been doing a lot, man. She got new equipment for the kids. We got a new boxing ring. She ordered boxing gloves, headgear for the kids. So if you don't have those things, Miss Nikki will make sure that your kids have them when they come to the gym, and you just got to return the equipment at the end of the day. You sign it in, and you sign it out, and you sign it back in at the end of the day. I appreciate you, Miss Nikki. The gym is growing with your presence, sister. And happy Mother's Day to you. I give you a personal shout out. Happy Mother's Day to you. And keep doing what you're doing. Coach Calvin, I'm going to speak for Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny. We appreciate you, Miss Nikki. And last but not least, Mr. Leon, Coach Brian. We appreciate you guys behind the scenes and any other the volunteers and coaches. Coach Rodney Hunt, he's been tirelessly putting in the work at the gym with the amateurs, and he have a professional that he training in the heavyweight division that won his last fight, Kobe, by knockout. So I'm gonna get a shout out to Coach Rodney Hunt and my main man, Big Red, Ray Somerville, Naeem Somerville dad. We appreciate what you're doing with your son, man. We can't do it without y'all guys, because what y'all gotta understand, it takes a village. We need to get back to that concept. It takes a village to raise a child, man. So we gonna get back to that mindset of giving our kids better opportunity with our involvement. And plus, I also want to let you parents know out there that we will be tutoring the kids at the gym. It ain't all about boxing. We will be tutoring the kids. I myself want to get the kids more involved into reading, getting back to reading, the foundation of learning, some math problems and spelling. So we will be having little contests at the gym real soon that the kids can learn, because everybody's not going to become a boxer. This is not for everybody. So, I just want everybody to know, when you bring your child down to Upton Boxing Center, 1901 Pennsylvania Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21215. Bring them down live like some chives. And this ain't no jive. Yeah, y'all. So, we got some fights coming up that the world want to see out there. You got Floyd Mayweather Jr. coming out of retirement to fight Paul Logan. If you've been tuning in, you've been seeing the advertisement, that the promoting side of it, as we get near to their fight, which I think is June the 5th or 6th. So this guy is a lot bigger than Floyd, but we know that Floyd's skills pay the bills. And while we on the subject of my boy Floyd Mayweather, one of the best defensive fighters that ever laced up a pair of gloves. One of the best defensive fighters that ever lace up a pair of gloves. So I want all you fighters out there to know that it's important to work on your defense, because offense is not easy, but offense is more quicker to learn than defense, because you throw in your hands, and let them land when they may be. But defense is a special art and skill. And Floyd has displayed that over the years. Now, as boxing goes on, your list can change. And I got my list for top 5 fighters that I like pound for pound. And I'm going to give you my list in the order that I see it in. What you got on my list, you got some fighters that's fighting now and some fighters that's not fighting now. But it doesn't diminish away from what they gave the sport. Coming in at my number one, pound for pound great, undefeated, 50-0, 51-0 to be exact, and going to be 52-0, and 4-5 weight division champion, multi-divisional champion, Floyd Mayweather Sr. at my number one. Coming in at my number two, undefeated fighter. I think my boy record probably like 40, 38-0, no losses, no draws. Andre Ward, which I don't think get a lot of credit. But Andre Ward was a hell of a boxer. He beat Kovalov, took his belt, went up in weight to the light heavyweight division, and took one of the hardest hitting guys' belt from him, and not only beat him once, he beat him twice. Andre Ward gave us some dynamite fights against Frosh, the guy from over, I think, if I'm not mistaken, from over London. And, you know, they put together a tournament, the Super 6 tournament or something, and he swept everybody in that tournament. So definitely at my number two would be Andre Ward. Coming in at my number three, it has to be Terrence Bud Crawford. I can't say enough about this dude, man. Switch hitter, dynamite in both hands, and he makes adjustments as the fight goes on, and he has power. He's undefeated, and I just can't say enough about this kid, man. He's a class act in and out of the ring. He's a family man, and I appreciate you, brother, what you bring into the sport of boxing. You bring a dynamite and exciting fights, and they always hollering out, these guys ain't fight nobody, a bunch of nobodies. It ain't just that they fight a bunch of nobodies. They at the elite. So they just making it look easy because they putting the work in. So you fighters out there, man, like Coach Calvin say, man, you got to put the road work in. They can't carry you all the time, all the way. As a professional, you have to do your part. Coming in at my number four, I could put him up a little higher. He won last night by stoppage. The guy didn't come off the stool. Canelo Alvarez at my four. I put him at my four. He could be at my 2 or 3, but on this new list, I'm gonna put him at my 4. Not because he's not being able to be in the top 3, but today at this moment, I'm gonna put him at my 4. Once again, we talking about a fighter. You can't take nothing from him. He's undefeated. He only lost to Floyd Mayweather. As you know, Floyd is a tactician in the ring. And I think after that fight, Canelo skills have grown. So I gotta put Canelo at my number 4. And coming at my number 5, I can't leave this guy out. Dynamite in his hands. He gave us some exciting fights. And this is a fighter of the old, not too old, but in the past. I gotta put on Mike Tyson. Gotta put a heavyweight on the list. And I know a lot of you out there gonna say, oh, Coach Squeeze crazy. He ain't put Ali on there. He ain't put Sugar Ray Leonard on there. He ain't put Marvin Hagler on there. Remember, this is my list, and this is my top five that I'm putting on this week. My list is subject to change. It don't stay the same. But I'm gonna tell you, one person I don't think will never get off of my number one slot. It's gonna be there till I leave this earth and take my last breath. And that's Floyd Mayweather Jr., which I know, man, they say run weather. Well, I say run weather. You to the bank, you got money in your bank. Shorty, what you think? I got money in my bank. Shorty, what you think? That's what I think when I think of Floyd Mayweather. He is own promoter. He is own boss. He employs a whole bunch of people. They don't say the good things that Floyd do. Floyd feeds the homeless, and he helps a lot of people out, man. And I can't thank Floyd for the body of work he put in. And hopefully, Floyd, I'm sending this shout out to you, man. Hopefully and prayerfully, I could get you on the show, man, and we could trade some recipes of some of your greatest fights. So I hope that flourishes one day, and that's my top five pound for pound. Now, everybody's seeing me with my red cup. Now, last week, I told you about my red cup. I was going to tell you inquiring minds that want to know what was in the cup. So, drum roll, if you may. Last week, Coach Squeeze had the cranberry juice in the cup. I know y'all was thinking, say, he off the hook, he crazy. That can't be water. It actually wasn't water. It was my cranberry, good for you. Clean you out. So there you have it, the mystery cup. That's what was in the cup. And I'm drinking from the knowledge of the boxing game mixed in with the cranberry. Now, let me get back to the people's champion, our own Gervonta Tank Davis. He's in camp, man. He's putting the work in. Coach Calvin and them is locked in. Coach Kenny, all the people that helps Gervonta Tank Davis out and getting him ready for this camp. As we know, Tank is a power puncher, but what everybody don't understand out there, man, that Tank is a hell of a boxer, man. Tank, if you go back and look at his fights, they say that Tank, without his power, that he wouldn't be winning. And that's not true. Tank have displayed when he fought Jose Pedraza, that he took the champion's belt. He had no losses before he fought Tank. You saying Tank ain't fighting nobody. So you saying an undefeated champion ain't nobody? He took his belt. He was undefeated. And not only, that was Tank's first title fight. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was at the Barclays Center in front of a jam-packed crowd. And Tank went in there and displayed all of his skills. He works off the jab. He has an excellent counter-punching game. And Coach Calvin will say, Squeeze, don't give out all the goodies and don't spill the beans. Coach Cal, we could tell them whatever they want, because when they get in the ring with Tank, they can't execute the game plan. They can know what the hell they want, because you could be as smart as fighter as you want and skillful fighter as you could be. But we already know Tank got something that's a neutralizer, and that's called dynamite. He got dynamite in both hands. But let me see which hand of Tank's, which power hand I like of his the most. I'ma go out on a limb. So next, at the end of the show, I want you to chime in and let me know what's your favorite Gervonta Tank Davis punch. Is it the right hook? Is it the uppercut? Or is it the left hand? So before we close the show out today, I want you viewers to tune in and tell me what's your favorite punch. If I left a punch off, just let me know what's your favorite punch. My favorite punch of Gervonta Tank Davis is the uppercut. You can't get out of the way of it. He sets it up so lovely. So I just want to give a shout out once again to Coach Calvin Ford, which I think should be up there, arguably, for Coach of the Year. It's about time to give Coach Calvin his flowers, is because he's been producing his champions from day one, man, and he's been working with Tank since Tank was like 6 years old, if I'm not mistaken, walked into Coach Calvin's life. So Coach Calvin to put a lot of work in with this kid, and now you're seeing the end remnants of the dynamic duo, Coach Calvin and Gervonta Tank Davis. As you can see when I'm repping GTD, you know, up in the house, you already know it's going to be a KO. Somebody got to go. If you don't like Domino Sugar, you just use Sweet and Low. Because when you watch Gervonta Tank Davis, when he hit him with the right hook and the left, they will fall on the canvas below. That's one of my little poetry rhymes. You know what I mean? Always got to bust them out. Because, you know, when he fight, you already know. Biggity. So Tank is in camp. He's training hard. Don't forget to tune into the Rize podcast show. We're going to have a lot of content that we're going to be uploading of Gervonta Tank Davis in camp. And stay tuned. We're going to have a nice card that night that's going to be materializing. So don't forget, viewers, June 26th in the mix. Tune in, because you know it's going to be fireworks. Now, let me give you a little information about the guy that we're going to face. Mario Barrios, undefeated, 104 40-pound champion, WBA champion. I've been studying Mario Barrios for like the last 2 months. His last 3 or 4 fights. He remind me of a G. I wanna ride it, something like the sound. I wanna pump it, yeah. He remind me of a bigger version of Leo Santa Cruz. If you see his style, he throws a lot of punches. He a little longer, and he throws a lot of punches around, and his fighting style is perfect for a Gervonta Tank Davis. If he doesn't make the adjustments that he needs to make in this fight, and plus Mario Barrios is a heavy puncher, so that's gonna be interesting to see how Gervonta responds to the power of Mario Barrios, which I know he's going to be okay. You know, everybody think him moving up in weight is going to be a problem. But you will see June 26th that it will not be a problem moving up for Gervonta Tank Davis because he's setting out to make history. One of the best, already the best boxer that Baltimore, Maryland didn't ever turned out in the history of the sport. And that's a fact. Gervonta Tank Davis is the best fighter out of Baltimore ever to lace up a pair of gloves. I'm proud of you, young man. I'm rooting for you. And back to the Mario Barrios, he throws a lot of punches, but he throws caution to the wind, which is not going to be a good thing. If Tank catch him across the chin real good, you already know he's sliding up under the hood. So I hope that his camp be prepared because the safety of the fighters is a main concern of ours, even though we know it's a dangerous game. But we always like to see the fighters come out safe. So tune in. It's going to be fireworks. May the best man win. And we already know who getting our hand raised. It's not about bragging. It's not about me riding the bandwagon because he's out of our camp. I'm going to tell you, I've been following Tank since the amateurs. I'm not jumping on no bandwagon. So the only thing surprising me about Tank is the power that he got. Where did it come from? You know, that's the only thing, if you want to ask me, that got me surprised about Gervonta is the power. The boxing skill always been there, you know, and Coach Calvin and Coach Kenny, they do an excellent job in preparing the fight. Now, Gervonta Tank Davis have his own promotion company, so he got a fighter, up and coming fighter that I want y'all to look out for too. His name Stacy Selby, which I think Stacy is 2-3 or 3-0 with all coming by way of knockout. So we got another kid that's power is out of this world, man. But let me get into some other little topics, man. Once again, for y'all mothers out there, enjoy yourself today. The kids, take your parents out to dinner, hug them, write them a card if you can't, cook them something to eat. Just show them that all the things they've done for you, that you love them and you appreciate them. And mothers, always go above and beyond. I miss my mom, but I know she's in a better place and she's setting that place for me. She's looking down, watching over me. And once again, Mom, I love you. I appreciate you. And all the mothers all over the world, y'all give us life and bring us into the world. And we can't thank y'all enough. So make sure y'all treat y'all mothers special every day. You don't wait the one day to say Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day could be every day, but we know we like to set a day, special day aside for the mothers. So, you know, and when you tune in at the end of the show, let me know your favorite Mother's Day song, you know, that you like to play for your mother. Mine is, of course, Mama, Mama, you know I love you. Mama, Mama, you're the queen of my heart. Your love is like tears from the stars. Mama, I just want you to know, loving you is like food to my soul. That's it. That's all I'm gonna give you. Sign the contract, sign it on the dotted line. I'm taking all record deals. Yeah, I ain't getting you no more. You gotta pay for the rest. Let me take a sip off my mystery drink, and I'll tell you next week what was in it. Things gonna get better. Ain't gonna be the same thing now. Ain't gonna be the same thing in the cup. So stay tuned. Don't forget, at the end of the show, ask some questions. Tune in. Tell me your favorite Mother's Day song. And don't forget to treat your mothers with love. Okay? And we almost winding down. So, tune in to the Rize Podcast channel. We on YouTube Live, Facebook Live, IG Live. Bring your children down to 1901 Pennsylvania Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, Pennsylvania and Robert Street. We do take Pee-wee. We do have Pee-wee classes from 5 to 8. And we have the 8 to 17. And we have the 18 to adults. And we also going to be having adult boxing aerobic classes for the adults. $120 for the whole year, 5 days for the week. Come on down. Get down with the get down. And don't forget to subscribe to the Rize Podcast. I don't want to sound like a broken album. We need your support. So the more y'all support us, the more content we give y'all. And it will help the kids and us be able to give the tools that the kids need in the gym to survive. Okay, y'all, I think I have wrapped up enough information for y'all guys this weekend on the Canelo Alvarez and Bj Saunders fight. I'm glad you guys tuned in to the show. So I'm going to go to my cameraman and ask my brothers, do we got any questions out there? So tune on in and ask Coach Squeeze anything you want. It don't have to be about boxing. It could be about any topic, and feel free. I'll answer it to the best of my ability. So my cameraman, tune in so we can get some questions.
What it is, Coach Squeeze?
What it do, like a size 6 shoe, baby?
Yeah, we actually do have some comments, some questions. I'm going to go through them. And I actually have a couple. I want to ask you myself about some of the stuff you talked about today, right? So, from Marvin Scott, he asked, what do you think of Tank versus Taylor or Ramirez? Like
Taylor?
I guess whoever's going to be the winner between Taylor and Ramirez, what do you think about Tank fighting them next?
I think Ramirez would be a more formidable opponent for Tank. Mm-hmm. To be more honest to your questions, because we try to be as honest as we can on this show and don't go off babies or no ifs. Right. I don't know too much about the Taylor guy. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to go back and do some research on him.
Right.
But Ramirez, I would think the answer to your question would be a better opponent for him. Mm-hmm. And we know styles make fights. And I think Tank has the antidote to solve that problem. Next question.
Yeah, Malik Wright in the comments on YouTube says, basically, bro, somebody has to stop Canelo. The Migos trying to take over. So, and speaking of that, that's kind of one of the questions I wanted to talk to you about. So that fight between Canelo and Saunders. Saunders is saying he may retire because he got an eye injury. Like that uppercut fractured his eye socket and he was taken to the hospital. Yeah, like that's dude. And I saw the video of the uppercut that he got hit with. Mean. So for anybody that's doubting Canelo's like punching power or whatever, I think you might be barking up the wrong tree with that one. You know what I'm saying? Like this man out here breaking bones. You feel me? Do you think that that's the type of injury that somebody should retire on? That's what I kind of wanted to ask you.
That is a career-ending injury because we know the eye socket is very fragile. I wouldn't think that would be a wise decision to be able to take the risk at coming back from something like that. Man, live the rest of your life, brother. You done made a lot of money in the sport, man.
Right.
You got your whole life to live, man. And that's something I wouldn't mess with. And the answer, the extension to that question, Abner Mares had some of the same injury that's supposed to support Javante. He's one of the commentary hosts on I think it's Showtime.
Okay.
And he haven't fought since Abner Mares.
Wow.
So that was a smart decision on his part. So the answer to your question, I don't think he should.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Something else I wanted to bring up real fast. So I wanted to kind of get your opinion on that Jake Paul Floyd Mayweather incident the other day.
Okay.
Jake snatching his hat. You saw that? Started a bunch of shit. And, I kind of saw this about to happen anyway, because while Floyd was up there talking to Logan, Jake was down there in the crowd kind of heckling, and then he tried to mess with his shoelaces, and, that's that sort of thing. Now, look, anything to sell a fight, it makes sense to do. That conversation, that incident went viral, and as a result of it going viral, that's more attention to the fight, which can potentially bring more viewers to the fight, right? But I gotta say, the shenanigans of two brothers, right? Two YouTube brothers. Don't play with Floyd. You really playing with Floyd? You really playing with Floyd? Like, I don't understand how anybody who knows anything, especially these are boxers, right? They say they want to box now, right? You don't know not to play with Floyd. You don't like. But the thing about that I wanted to ask you, could you analyze that fight for me? Like, in other words, what is Logan going to try to do, and what must Floyd do to get around the reach difference?
The answer to your question, brother, about the shenanigans that went down over the past week, it's all promotions, man. Yeah. If you can see the Conor McGregor fight, it's all promotion. They gotta sell the fight. And I think they're doing an excellent job. Now, the part two answer to your question, we know boxing is a technical sport.
Yeah,
I don't think the brother is skillful enough. He's strong, he's young, but we all seen that in front of Floyd before when he fought Canelo Alvarez.
Facts.
Canelo Alvarez. I don't got Logan beating Canelo Alvarez, and I damn sure don't have him beating Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather gonna make the adjustments. and he gonna get them out of there. He gonna get them tied, and he gonna take them into deep waters,
Mm-hmm.
and he gonna drown them.
You know, it's funny. It's funny, man.
Summertime coming, right?
Yeah.
Summertime coming. The pools will be open.
Right.
He will get drowned early.
It's funny because one of the things I heard during the whole incident was this whole charge of Floyd being an old man. Really? 44. Let me explain something to y'all that don't know. So at 44 years old, that man is still viable. You see what kind of shape he's in, right?
Yeah.
For those of you that may be a little younger than us, go look back and see what George Foreman was doing to people at 48.
Yeah.
Just go back and look at that. Look at his win-loss. Look at his win-loss. He was still knocking people's dick in their watch pocket. He was still had that old man strength. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can play that game with the whole old man stuff. Like, well, that old man whoop your ass and you pulling yourself up off that canvas, you're gonna have to explain how this old man just put you on your young ass. You know what I'm saying? Keep playing.
But you gotta understand, a 44-year-old Floyd to those people like that is actually a 35-year-old Floyd.
Facts.
Floyd don't smoke, he don't drink.
Right.
He doesn't abuse his body because he know his body is his money. So to a lot of guys, a 44-year-old Floyd is like a 35-year-old guy to those dudes. Floyd never stops training and working out. That's a lifestyle of his.
Like Amir Liggins said in the comments, look at Manny Pac-Man. Still dangerous. Still dangerous. Will still fuck you up. Right?
Yeah. Manny in my top 10. Manny in my top 10. He wouldn't be in my top 5 because he got too many losses.
Mm-hmm.
But they make a lot of excuses for his losses. He wasn't that way. He should have been this, that, and that. I don't give a damn. He lost. But he will make my top 10.
Right. I want to go back to
any other questions?
Yeah, I want to go back to a lot of people was answering one of the questions that you asked earlier about what's their favorite tank punch, right? So Malik Rice says the right jab.
Ooh.
Yeah. Marvin Scott says left hook to the body.
Ooh.
They're watching. They're watching. Amir Liggins says left hand. That left. That left, right?
What Beyonce say? To the left, to the left.
And Amir, I want to swing back around to something else Amir asks. He asks, does Tank have a strength and conditioning coach?
Yes. Yes, he does.
Awesome.
Which actually his strength and conditioning coach is Coach Kenny, and he got another strength and conditioning coach, I think.
Okay.
But yes, he does. He does have strength and conditioning, which Calvin does some of the. They team up. Tank blessed. Tank got like 3 guys that gives them strength and conditioning advice. Tank is real blessed when it comes to that. The answer to this question.
That's a fact. And Ken, just a side note, Kenny Strong is a bull. I just watched him on Instagram pick up a 90-pound barbell with one hand, just one hand, and lift that shit up. Kenny Strong is a bull. So if anybody gonna help you with strength and conditioning, it's gonna be Kenny. We're at the 59 and 30-second mark. So you might want to, tell these people about our. Now go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
All right, y'all. You heard my man with the master plan, Landan. I had to say Landan because it ain't Landis.
Right, it's got to rhyme. It's got to rhyme. Bars. You know what I'm saying?
So, as you know, thank you for tuning in, man. We appreciate y'all. We're going to give y'all the content that y'all need. Don't forget to go to our page, Rize Podcast Show. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Make sure you bring the kids down to 1901 Pennsylvania Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland. We have Pee-wee classes from 5 to 8 and from 8 to 17 years old, and adult classes, $120 for the whole year. So please come on down, support our movement, because in Baltimore, we're trying to bring something positive to the minds and to change the narrative of the destructiveness that's going on in our city. We want them to know it's a bright spot. It's going to shine through, and the Rize podcast can bring it to you. And before I leave, I'd like to thank our sponsors, GTD Promotions, Redesigning Minds, one mind at a time, Under Armour, and Box Raw. It's been a lovely episode. Coach Calvin Ford is on the road. Coach Kenny Ellis is on the road. I appreciate y'all guys for giving me this platform to get the message out. So stay tuned. And as I always say, peace and hair grease.
Peace.